Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Lily from Lily's Crafty Corner. Today I'm going to share with you what I created for a swap that I'm in. It's a group swap. It's the Facebook group is Crafty Manipulators, and the host of this particular group swap is Brittany Bentley. And the name of the swap is What's in Your Purse? And so you did have to create a purse, and then we had some other things that we were going to put in the purse. So I'm going to start off with some of the things that are going into the purse. And I really enjoyed creating this swap. There are a total of 3 people, so you end up making 2 swaps for your partners, and then it's not required, but I do always make one for the hostess. I feel that they do so much work that it's certainly well deserved that we make them a swap. So in this one, this particular portion of it was to alter clothespins, and what I did was I took some, actually these I did with Tim Holtz Distress Spray. It was the walnut, and it does come out with a little bit of green, almost like a verdigris when you do it, and I really do like it. Anyway, I added some paper. I put a little on this one. I have one of those word beads, and it says now, and then I also have on both of them, you'll see these little pearl pieces that you get in when you go to the store when you're going to make flowers. There's centers, and there's like usually 2 on the wire. And then I made my own with a punch. I made these flowers here, and they're so simple. You just punch them out, put them together, and give them a little center. And I happen to use, being that I'm using the pearls, I decided to attach the pearls to the centers of those. And the paper pack that I use, it's authentique. And actually I used 2 paper packs, but they were both quite similar to each other. One was a picnic pack, and the other one was springtime or showers, something like that. But the thing that was interesting was they were extremely similar packs. It was almost like having 2 of the same. So it worked out very nice. So that was one of the things that we had to put in our purse. The next thing I made was it was a ATC card, and what I did with the ATC card was I used the playing cards, and what I found, actually it was from another swap that I was in. In the other swap, what we did was we made the ATCs. We had to make 3, and I always also use the playing cards, but I usually just back it with cardstock. Well, she put about 5 of them together, and I have to tell you, it makes a neater and it makes a sturdier ATC, and I'm really quite happy with it. So then the other thing on this was, of course, as you see, I added the pearls. I used the strawberry paper on this one. On all the ATCs, they're a little bit different, again, because I was using these paper packs. I had used them before, and I was just trying to coordinate, trying to get them all similar, but they're all a little bit different, but they're all from the same paper pack, and they all have the same elements. And on this one, it says, I feel an earnest desire to increase the stock of harmless cheerfulness. And it's a quote from Charles Dickens. And actually on the papers where the cutoff is, where they have that extra quarter or half inch that you usually have to take off on the 12 by 12s, there's these quotes, and they do have them quite frequently. So I like to cut them off and use them. The other thing was the little stamp. Now they had this there, but it wasn't. It didn't have the what do you call it? The perforations. What I took was like it was what do you call them? The little scissors that have this different edges on them. I used that to go around, and I just added a little stickles and put a string of pearls on them, and I thought they came cute. And one of the things I chose to do was I made a little box to put them in. Actually, it's an envelope box, as you can see, and I used Velcro here. It's double-sided paper, and this was the ant paper from the picnic piece, And what's nice about now where I got the pattern for this, or the template, if any of you watch Genevieve Designs, she has, if you're a member of her Facebook group, she has some freebie, what she calls freebie Fridays, and there's free templates in there. And I used the one for the small template for the small envelope box, but you can actually make this flat if you wanted to. The other thing is, on the back of these, we were supposed to put our name and where we lived. I live in Wappinger Falls, New York. I'm currently watching, I was at the time, YouTube videos, and my $5 wish was lace trim. So I just thought that really was sweet, and I did like making that. I thought that I did like that. And then I have a glassine bag that I folded from the bottom, and when I actually get this ready to send, I will add another little bit of washi tape around the edge to hold it in place. And then, of course, I put a topper on it. And the other thing that we were supposed to do was to alter a composition book, but one of the mini ones, so that's what I did. And I also housed, for packaging, I did put in the in a glassine bag, but I made them all belly bands to hold them together. So the belly bands come off, and this particular one says, "You're very special." But each one was a little bit different. Then here's the altered mini composition book. I found these little beads that were gold tone, and they had letters on them. So I used a B for Brittany, and then I took and covered it with the little ladybug paper. I have this lace trim that I hot glued on and used also double-sided tape, and then added some pearls to it. I added pearls to the side and ribbon. And then it was funny because the piece that I wanted to add on the end had this scallop to it. So we ended up with scallop on the front and back. And of course on the back I have Lily's Crafty Corner, Lily and Hort, and thanks for swapping. And then on the inside I made a pocket, which is a little bit of a pocket tuck, and I put in a bookmark, and I used a red button and some ribbon, and I think it really, and again with the double-sided tape. And this came, I think it was a different paper pack that had this. It might have been the authentic one, but anyway, it had the little seed thing. So I cut it down and made that into it, made that for it. And then on the back, I just again covered it. Oh, I'm glad I'm going through these again. And put a little girl in there with the flowers, and I just thought that was cute, and then covered the back. Also, what I did was when I was covering the inside of this, or on the outside, I ended up putting a ribbon in there to make a bookmark with the ribbon, so you can go through and use it wherever you like inside the book, in addition to the other bookmarks. So anyway, I had a great deal of fun doing this. I wanted to make them a little different because we've all been doing the altered books, and I thought, I really need to do something a little bit different than what we've been doing. And that's why I decided to use the glassine bag and put in make a belly band for it again. Just trying to do something a little different, but not, crazy or whatever. Then we had to, in addition, we had to take and do three, I think it was three. Was it 2 or 3? Yes, I thought it was 3. Maybe it was only 2. Yes, 2 paper clips, but I chose to do 2 large paper clips and banner style. And it was funny, I was in the dollar store and I saw these. They were packages of 3. And I said, oh, so since my daughter Lindsay was also doing this swap, I picked up an extra package for her, and I said, well, if you want to use them, use them. If you don't, don't. But we'll have them in, in our stash. But she chose to use them all. So I made the flowers. Tiffany McGill over at Coffee Cake and Crafting, I know she was giving somebody else credit for them, but I gave her credit for these little paper flowers that you just layer on, and you cut out the petals, you layer them up, and then you kind of crinkle them, and you wet them so that they kind of shrivel up a little bit. And then I also dyed the flower trim that I had from when I did the books, the little altered books. I just colored these with spray stains that I had. Some were Tim Holtz, some were other people, but I just sprayed them with that, and then I just put the black and white dotted faceted flat back on there. And as you can see, I used the paper. We did both sides, and then I put, I used the beads again, and I added some more of the little pearls there underneath the flower, almost like a leaf type thing. Oh goodness, I don't know if you can hear the thunder, but we're having a summer thunderstorm right now. And then on the second one, I actually used the ladybug and kind of redid it, but this one I added, instead of putting the lace trim here, the flower trim, I just put a couple of pieces of ribbon there and added the little, what do you call them, the little pearl pieces. Now, the other thing that we were supposed to do was to make a paper tassel. So I made one with that, again, the coordinating paper, and then I had these little daisies. These I did not make. These I already had in the stash. And then the other thing that I did was I had these little Tim Holtz clip. They were kind of like a pin, but they had this top piece here, and that's what I put in to help hold it. And then, when you do the paper wrap. So it made it quite easy to put it on and off the paper clip, but I just added it to one of the paper clips. I just figured it was an easy way. So that was one of the other pieces that we had to do. And then I made a hidden altered paper clip. I saw this, trying to think I think it was Roxy's Creations. Rachel is over in Italy. She's an Aussie. She's Australian, but she's married to an Italian, and she lives in Italy, and she actually showed how to do these. I had some flowers I had gotten from the Dollar Tree. No, not Dollar Tree, AC Moore. They were only, that's why, because they were only $1, but those were AC Moore. I added a little pearl on top. But what you do is you make these sturdy little pieces of paper, and then you clip the paper clip on the inside of it, and you leave one side, of course, out, and then you can do it. But they come out very, very sturdy. I was very impressed with them, and I thought I would try those, and I do like them. And that way, in addition to, it was part of the topper for this. That's one of the things too, when you're packaging, I always find that, I don't know about anybody else, but I just don't want to throw this stuff. I spend a lot of time making these projects, and I absolutely love what I make. I do put no matter how small they are, whatever it is, I feel like I do put my heart and soul into my crafting, and I don't know whether it comes through or not, but I do. And when I do that, I just don't want to throw them in a I don't want to call it a garbage bag, because I have seen where people have actually put swaps into, the bags that little plastic bags that you get in the stores when you buy things. But I don't want to do that. But at the same time, I don't want to spend a ton of money. So I do try to use like the glassine bags, and I like to, put a little clip top, and it really kind of gives a cute little presentation without breaking the bank. And at least it looks nice. Now the next one I did another with the paper clip. I had these paper clips with the, what do you call them there? Neon, kind of sparkly. But I just put a little gem on it that had that could be used for a dangle if you were making those type of, the dangles and so forth. Then I also used a glassine bag, and then we had to make a cover for Post-it notes. And again, my friend Genevieve Harrison of Gen of Eve Designs, she had these little pieces for her freebie Friday templates that you could use to put in your Post-it notes. Now there's a lot of different ways you can use them. You can even take and run them through your laminator, so that if you stick them onto the back, or just a piece of something laminated, put it here, then you can, change them out as you go. But anyway, this was the double-sided paper, Authentique, and then they had these little things here, and I just, part of the ephemera that comes with it. And then I took this was actually a trimmed off piece here that I put across, and I just used it as a band, like a ribbon or my own washi tape, and it's cute because it's definitely scraps that I used. And then the same thing with the little flowers that I punched out with that. They were all that black paper that I used was leftover paper that I had from other projects. And again, I used the Velcro dots and the lock and loop, or whatever you want to call them. I did put my stamp on the back. And one of the things that I do find, though, honestly, you do need to use I feel I need to use the Velcro brand when I use this lock and loop, because when I try to use the off brands, quite honestly, they don't work as well. They don't hold on. Sometimes they're so strong that they actually will rip off when you're trying to take them off. I find these are just perfect, and they hold, and I don't have to worry about them. So anyway, that's one of the other things that we had to make. Now we're at the end, and I'm going to show you the little purse I made. Now this was when we signed up for the swap, Brittany did have a link to May Made It, and May Made It had made the purse. So we were all, some people you can stick to the basic premise of the purse, that she made. You can alter even what she did, because my daughter, she used the base for the same, but she did a totally different thing as far as the handles and the front. So, but the one thing we did find was that because of the fact that when you try to, send these in the mail, we were concerned. So what we ended up thinking about was, putting when we scored it, we added another score to go down the middle. That would be the middle of the box. And then it's a matter of kind of working in that extra score line to make it so that it would go flat. And then when you open it, and the thing is, if you just get it a little bit settled, it's fine. I stuck with the basic premise. I wanted to keep it a little bit easy, and wasn't sure where it was going to go. I wasn't even sure if I was going to do the swap, because I wasn't confident in making it. The only thing I will tell you, I have this magnet thing going on here, and it just doesn't seem to quite want to play nice. So sometimes, the funny thing is, sometimes it'll work perfectly and sometimes it doesn't. But it's a very basic thing. You use, I can't remember, I don't think it was I think it was an 8.5 by 11. I don't think it was a 12 by 12. But anyway, you just use that. And then what I did was, on the sides, I kind of made my own washi tape with the leftover again, these were all the scraps that I had left over from when I was matting. And then I cut out a scalloped circle that I had. I stamped it with the letter B for Brittany, and I put these, what do you call them, burlap flowers that I had purchased a while back. I just had them in my stash, so I had enough to use. I made this flower and put it on the front. I added, as you can see, some ribbon. And, it's funny that I popped up the metal piece here, brad, and I had it, there it goes. It just decides when it wants to work or not. There, now it's holding a little bit. And anyway, and then you put the straps on, you cut the straps. The straps are basically two scraps, and I use the brads to anchor them. I did have to glue a couple of them because they were moving, but I put the brad on here for the closure. And it does hold, it just doesn't want to stay holding. Anyway, but it's really kind of cute. And I'm very happy, oh here, I'm out of the frame, I'm sorry. But I am happy with it, it kind of looks nice. And they were really a lot of fun to make. Again, I wasn't sure about making it, but after watching May's tutorial a couple of times, I felt very confident with it. The only thing that we felt, that Lindsay and I both felt the need to do, was to add the extra score line so that we could fold them flat for mailing. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed what I made for, or created for this swap. And please, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and give me a thumbs up. I hope that you all enjoyed it, and till next time.